Our next reader is C.M. Burroughs. C.M. was born in Atlanta and now lives in Pittsburgh, where she teaches at the University of Pittsburgh. She was awarded a fellowship with Cave Canem, the renowned New York-based center promoting the discovery and cultivation of new voices in African-American poetry. She has a BA degree from Sweetbriar College and an MFA from Pitt. Her work was first published in the fall 2002 edition of Wabash Review and has since appeared in the Little Magazine's Texas Poetry Journal, Pluck, Bat City Review, Pittsburgh City Paper, Jubilat, and Hot Metal Bridge. Her poem Coil was included in the anthology Gathering Ground, a reader celebrating Cave Canem's first decade, published in 2006 by the University of Michigan Press. C.M. Burroughs has read her work at the Warhol and Mattress Factory Art Museums in Pittsburgh and at the Studio Museum in Harlem. C.M. Burroughs.
So I'll have to just confess right now that some of the poems I'll read tonight are difficult, and difficult because they're fairly new, and by new I mean emotionally new. I'm working on a manuscript right now called Imagined Alteration of Hymnline, which really attempts to speak about the death of my sister, younger sister, in 1998. So you'll get to be privy to that, and I'll make that public tonight. And I'll also be reading from a chapbook I've put out called I, which I have here if anyone's interested in copies. Dear Incubator, at 6 months gestation, I am a fabrication born far too soon. My body, a stone in a steaming basket. I remember you, figureless, a black kaleidoscope. Turn, turn. The dangerous loom of you. Patterns pressing upon me inside. Nothing luminous is my mother's womb. This second attempt at formation, a turn. The nurse slides her wedding band past my hand, beyond my elbow and over my shoulder. I am 1 pound, 12 ounces, and already feminine, knowing nothing of it. I am trying to be clear. I was first fascinated, then afraid of the shapes rise from your darkness and their growth toward me. I wailed under their weight. My eyes were shuttered by lids. My skin was translucent. Anyone could see me working. How can I ask you from inside the poem? What senses did I have so early, so unformed? I was tangled in tubes that kept my heart pumping, that kept my lungs from collapsing, food to the body, oxygen to the brain. You are everything and nothing, a surrogate, a packaging of half-made sensory detail, a past. I have scars on my belly in shapes of fish, where sensors tore thin skin. What a tragedy to be powerless. And yet, I controlled the choreography of everyone around me, the check of vitals, arms through the arm ports, my parents' speech. Also, there were surgeons. I'm trying to tell you something important about after they opened you and took me out. I was infected, could command nothing of my legs for years. The surgeons, thin blades shining into nothing. Imagine the cuts. Blood spread along the lip of each, spilling as my skin parts. Someone bringing cotton to catch it. Is it your fault? I don't know. I was in a state. I've explained. I don't know what you let in. Perhaps. Do you know, lovers ask about these scars, touch these raised scars. So much has happened. I'm black. I have a dead sister. I love you, but, and believe this, I mostly want to talk. 1998. When he wrote, "There's a glove in the crick," I asked, "Are you from the South?" And he was, more or less. And when I said it, South, and why I haven't gone back, my sister ended up in my mouth, like a bullfrog, like cherry blossom, choking. What sister? What sister? He meant creek, you know. But I got the usage, and the origin wept. He was my student, sweet and smelled like a delicious word. Anyway, the question wasn't so much what as when. PCOS. I repeat baby in my sleep. I nightmare baby, dream baby, and someone cuts ice largely. The ovaries are crowded with cysts. The cysts rupture in Jersey, Newark, no less. The woman moves very slowly. This is what you feel. Foreign, ill, afraid, nearly. I am the woman. Would I have known? When I come close, I stop communicating. Fully stop. Don't you forget to breathe. This is a break from holding it. The comforted hand, warm hand, incubated hand, forming. Can open, can close, can age. Baby, baby, the hand is crying. Your turn to comfort the hand. A formula for clarity of direction. Once I wrote a poem larger than any man, even Jesus. So tall the furrow of hair couldn't be tousled, feet large as lakes. I titled it Personification, so it would live, Godzilla in parentheses, so it would kill. There was blood. Testicles lay in the streets like confetti post-parade. I was glad. Diana, after Actaeon's own salivating pack consumed him, limb by limb licked, tendons trailing. I rode the shoulder of my poem, wanting to see their faces, none specific, all malevolent, calling out last moments in ridiculous language, love, affection, tender, one screamed, not loudly enough and too late. I wore red paint, salvaging neither plated breast nor firm mouth. Not once was I tender. I wanted them wasted. Him, 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 him. Name in print, etc., really turned me on. If the strands on my head all lead to my thinking of myself in all immediate spaces, I visit a therapist to get out of my head, but say, I. Primp, the nervous tick. Performance, please observe. She primps in the powder room. She performs in public. She visits a therapist to leave herself with someone else. Repeat, I. I must tell you, and possibly you know, there is only this stage. The power of the vulnerable body. Love, precursor to our shankless entrances, nothing in the mouth or strapped at the ankle but 2 pairs of 6. We felt ourselves fortunate to have beds and bodies to lay inside of at night. Like a man in the female outhouse, he and I tried to hurt each other so that the public could not break our skin. We used our canines, bird shots, live matches, rope. We wanted to do everything that could be done to us. We used nth words, which did the swift damage. There was a gash where he said, thankfully, he could sew. I was all new within the week, except for the weeping. He had to hold my face in his hands and say, look at me, I love you, several times before my eyes washed and it was him again. We strode into light. For recovery, should we have underestimated the public? We stored the chains in black boxes. On impact, after Susan Wicks. And I guess I have to say I never speak about her, but I just met Susan. She's a British poet at the MacDowell Colony, and I was in my studio reading her book one day and wrote a poem behind it. You know, it was inspired by one of her pieces. And then in the dining room, I said, wait a minute, that's her. And had to tell her the story. On impact. We watched the bird begin at the veranda's edge and taking off with mission into the French doors 5 feet ahead. A red bird reddening, sexed in vermeil, damaged. Days this continued. You saw it, the bird dying for the bird. How to love the self, a week at least, at last. The elongated click of its mouth, attention, a repetition. The work of watching it attempt to die, the words please and don't mined from every throat in that house. As much as we were witnesses, we did not see its beak gag open, did not see it die, but gently noticed no refrain, no fatalistic thud at the glass, the body or betrothal gone. A pinch of my sister's hair breathed in a porcelain pillbox in a bedroom, 2 windows above. What creature could have known? As I've been working through this new manuscript, I've found myself falling into patterns of redundancy or repetition, and one of these words that I've been repeating is weeping. You know, how not to repeat that word, I wondered. So I've written this poem, Metaphor for Weeping. So is not to repeat the word. A door, a small mouth at its bottom for cats, vermin, children. Beyond the door, a scatter of rooms. At the edge of it, or the boiling middle, a red window, sill, 6 panes, latch, all red. The sill may be kissed, soothed even. The latch turned, lifted, swiveled, of all the ways to open a window. Watch your fingers. The panes are wet with, you've heard it before. Be careful of your fingers. It is red. It calls to be raised. Don't scathe your palms. This is the scalding center. Answer it. Lift it. You will have no words on the other side. You will have your surrendering hands. The red window is seething, is streaking, is... In the personal camp, eroticism. Once I find the maze opening to the cane break, I see we are still quite removed from escape. You are black under the chassis, detergent and oil puddling across your black skin. You are so beautiful, I say it. You are so beautiful, body. I join you, stick my fingers into the organs or engine, everything so warm, so dark, I can't tell. I move my hand into the wrist. I move my hand into the wrist. Fix it when your mouth opens with sight. Your own wrist, rodel against some metal. One of us, man, machine, ovary, guns to life. I feel that we will get away. And last, I just have to thank the Pennsylvania Center for the Book, and all of you for being here. This is a sign that poetry is, indeed a public thing, and I'm glad for it, obviously. But thank you. Artist delight. But he draws back my clothes, covers me in a palette of skirts, and there is a blouse here. I am less touched, finally. Goodness. He paints a field around me. My legs curl under. I am happy here. Great baskets at my sides fill with, this is a passion flower. This is a black-eyed Susan. This is a tired iris. This is a bloom of cotton. Bright is that sun and that moon. Happy here. My lips feather in grotesque smile. This land, this abyss. When he is unhappy with so many things, he stabs the forest behind me and these bowls in front. They do not turn away. They turn brighter. Thank you.